Hello, I'm sure you have heard about mirrorless cameras, that they are the new standard. DSLR camera production has been discontinued by all major brands, Sony being one of the pioneers in mirrorless cameras. In this webinar, we will highlight what are the benefits of using mirrorless cameras, what additional equipment do you need, can you stay with some old equipment, what extras are useful like brackets, diffusers, how to shoot portraits, many things will be covered in this 45 minutes. We will see how long the webinar will take to get you covered with all you need to know. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. We are here to answer your questions. So let's dive in. Hello and welcome, dear colleagues, to my webinar. If you have watched the trailer, you know what we will talk about today. Mirrorless cameras, although around for a while, still many out there are struggling, don't know should they switch from their beloved DSLR cameras to mirrorless cameras. As a short introduction, all the big companies have stopped producing DSLR cameras. There's no future development. So these are basically old school. It's like the amalgam filling. It still works, but it's better to switch to composite to be a little bit into the future of technology. Basically, before we start, the equipment, the basic of equipment remains the same when we talk about lens, flash, bracket. So the camera is the thing that changes. But let's jump into that and start talking about mirrorless cameras. As an introduction, as always, I love to talk about standards in dental photography. This is a topic that really keeps me engaged, keeps me pushing dental photography to be a standard in our dental offices. You can compare it with X-ray. X-ray is to look through the patient, and with images, with pictures, videos, scans, we look at our patients. I want to remind you this paper by Wolfgang Bengel from 1985. If you want to read it, I shared it already on my social media, but if you want to read it again and put it in your drawer as a reference, this article is really worth reading. It from 1985. Let me highlight some key points of that article. The main purpose of dental photography is documentation. Again, X-rays, images, scans, these are documents. And it's not fancy stuff, it's not artistic work, it's documentation. And this should be under reproducible conditions. Again, as your scans, as your X-rays, you want to reproduce them, you want to get the same consistent results all the time. Only if these conditions are reproducible, they can be regarded as really adequate recording tools. So we need standards in the camera, in the equipment, in the formats, in the light, and all this. So keep that in mind, because this is important for what we'll talk about. In 1985, Wolfgang Bengel stated the most versatile camera is a 35 millimeter single lens reflex camera. So basically, single lens reflex cameras, you know them, something like this. This is a Nikon F6 with a slide, with a film, analog film. So basically, this is single reflex cameras with the optical viewfinder, the prism. We'll talk about the technology in a while, in a moment. In addition to the camera, the lens, and for me, the lens is the most important part of our equipment, around 100 to 135 millimeter with a 1:1 magnification ratio. I have talked about that also in several posts, and there are also videos on Dental TV. I will add some links to additional resources that are stored on Dental TV to round up the whole webinar without going into all the details just in this short lecture. A twin flash, already at that time, we used twin flashes because the ring flashes at that time were really ring flashes and created unwanted reflection on the two surface. So a twin flash I remember we built custom-made twin flashes to get a better light control for our intraoral photography. What's the best camera? Well, the best camera does not exist. There's a saying, the best camera is the one that you have with you. That might also be the smartphone. But smartphone photography is a different topic that many people are talking about. The camera, the smartphone, you have it with you. But you need to take or be aware of that using your smartphone requires additional lighting setups. It's not that easy. You need to know how to set up your smartphone correctly to get consistent results, especially regarding color reproduction. You have less resolution when you want to zoom in your pictures, but this is something different. Also here we have many videos on that topic on Dental TV, or there are many resources around the globe talking about smartphone photography. So a mirrorless camera, what is the difference between DSLR and mirrorless? I already told you the SLR cameras have this optical viewfinder. They have a penta mirror, a prism. It's not a penta mirror, that's a spelling error. It's a penta prism that directs the light coming through the lens from reflected by the mirror through this, and then you see it in the optical viewfinder. When you push the button, the mirror goes up and the image gets exposed. On the other side, mirrorless cameras, all it's digital, and you see in the electronic viewfinder, you see a video image. Hello, you might know smartphone photography. This is 80 to 90% what we are shooting, but is it as good also for dental photography? It's not that easy. You need additional equipment like LED lamps to mount your smartphone on. Why not go for a dental kit that is as easy as your smartphone? Let's start with the camera body. For example, the Sony a6700. Add a Sony 90mm macro lens to it. And go for the Godox MFR76S Plus ring flash. Here, S stands for Sony and the plus stands for the special dental mode. Let's put it all together. Voila, here we go, the dedicated dental kit developed by Sony and Godox. Ready to shoot, but before we start shooting, we have to set it up correctly. Do this once and save your settings. Go for manual control. Put your camera on M and then start browsing the menu. We shoot in JPEG, we use manual focus. So here on the lens, you can switch from auto to manual focus. We select the white balance and go for degree Kelvin. Start with 5300 degree Kelvin and with the Godox adjust it to 5100. We have the grid lines turned on for better focus control, and then we have the peaking display turned on or activated. The best color to highlight the points that are in focus is red because it's a contrast to teeth, but you can select the peaking display colors at your personal preferences. Voila, now we have all our settings and put it on menu point 1. So U1, save it there. If you lose it, if you have problems, just with one click, you get all your settings back. And now you're ready to shoot. So after selecting or talking a little bit about the camera and equipment you need, how many megapixels do we really need? This is an ongoing discussion. And honestly, we don't need that much. What you need is high quality pixels. So this means I prefer using also a full frame camera with a larger sensor in crop mode to shoot my dental images, to get the tiny details that you cannot get when using a smartphone. But talking about numbers, even 6 megapixels, 7 megapixels, 10 megapixels are more than enough. And you see it also in the development of camera. The race to get more and more pixels in your camera has slowed down, and with you see more lower pixel numbers, larger pixels on the surface of a sensor to get higher quality, more sensitivity also to light, better low light performance. But these are not points that we need when using a flash in our intraoral photography. But don't get fooled. All cameras on the market have enough megapixels to shoot good looking dental images. Let's point out the main point, the number one point why I love mirrorless cameras. And this is the so-called focus peaking. Focus peaking means when you focus manually, you can select the colors. So you can select in the settings, you can walk through the settings. I have settings for Nikon, Canon, and Sony cameras on Dental TV that you can access for free. You see the highlighting of the focal plane. So where the image is in focus, you see a color. I prefer to set it to red because it's a good contrast on the two surfaces. Even if you don't think that you see through the viewfinder a sharp image, when the focal plane is marked red, you can push the button and you can push the shutter and your image is sharp. So no need to adjusting things. Again, here the focus peaking, you can choose different colors. So I recommend setting it to high, so to a high level that we have a high contrast on the two surfaces in the angles, and go for red. You see, you can choose red, green, yellow, and blue, but I personally would go for red in dental photography. Let's talk quickly about the crop factor. I was mentioning that I prefer shooting in crop mode with my full frame cameras. So the full frame camera is this, what you see, 35 millimeter APS-C, 1.5. The 1.5 crop is for Nikon cameras, 1.6 is for Canon cameras, and the smaller the sensor, the higher the crop factor. And this means if you look at the image, if you want to shoot the full image with a smaller sensor, you have to increase the distance to the subject. Increasing the distance to the subject gets you more depth of field and a better light control. That's why for intraoral photography, even shooting with full frame cameras, I often prefer to select DX mode or APS-C mode to shoot with the crop sensor to get this additional benefits of working distance and light control. And for my portraits, I prefer to shoot them with a full frame camera to get more information, more details. What lens should you use? Basically, the same macro lenses you used with your DSLR cameras, now in upgraded versions for mirrorless. Again, also there, 1:1 magnification ratio. This means a subject, life-size subject, is the same size on the sensor if you shoot in full frame. So this is, and the 90 to 135 millimeter is to get the distance to have the least perspective distortion, so that the face get not distorted, the tooth arch gets not distorted. This is the thing why you should go there. And my favorite lenses in the Nikon, Sony, and Canon universe. Nikon has an excellent 105 millimeter macro lens. Sony has a 90 millimeter, and Canon a 100 millimeter lens. All lenses work seamlessly, perfect, and are a good choice for your system. I know that there are also third-party lenses that work, but personally, I think these lenses are made for the systems and work the best. And the price difference is not that huge, but you might go for Sigma, Tamron, or Laowa lenses if you want. Also there I have some videos on Dental TV on these different type of macro lenses. Here an overview of the perspective distortion you get when shooting with a wide angle lens, and always trying to have the same frame. So with the wide angle lens you get much closer, so the nose is getting bigger, and the further away the more proportion are natural looking, and around 100 millimeter we have this most natural look. I also published an article, a video article on photography or videography, a paradigm shift in dental clinical documentation in the Journal of Prosthodontics. I will post the link to this video in my presentation. You just can click on the link and watch these 15-minute articles with some interesting insights on where we are heading to in our clinical documentation. Let's talk a little bit about flashes. What flashes do you need? And I'm really proud that I was part of a development of a new flash system together with Sony and Godox. Dental photography is getting more important in our daily workflows. We know many out there are struggling, but we have good news for you. Sony and Godox have partnered, giving you a basic, advanced and pro kit, not only using the camera but also a special developed flash systems, the MFR76S Plus. S stands for Sony and Plus stands for the special dental mode. This is special because we have developed this dental TTL mode with Sony and Godox to make things easier, to make your flash photography as reliable as possible and replace even the gold standard manual flash photography. If you're using the MF12 lateral flash option, you go for the TTL trigger, the X Pro S Plus. Also here, S for Sony and Plus for special dental mode. If you turn on the trigger, you can see we have TTL activated. We go to the menu and go to dental, where we can turn dental photo mode on or off. Turn it on for your best dental shots. Hang on, a special tip. The Godox MF12 comes with these handy diffusers and more powerful rechargeable batteries. Let me also share the best settings for your Sony Godox kit to get consistent, natural looking images every day. Go for manual mode, select a short shutter speed, close your aperture, go for the lowest ISO for best quality, white balance, go for Kelvin 5300 or 5100, neutral color style to avoid any colors to be pushed, and TTL flash control if you're using the Godox flash system. And by the way, these days video is getting more important. Sony and Godox are ready for this to elevate your content creation and social media game. After browsing a little bit the Godox universe with this interesting ring flash and lateral flash system to help you work on your dental photography, let's talk about the additional helpers that you need. So basically, my favorite additional tool is a flash bracket. I show you at the setup here. We have the flash bracket mounted on the camera. I have also talked about the issue that the flash bracket sometimes is too close to the lens, so you need this small adapter, and then you know all the hack that you can bring your flashes from lateral to ring flash position. So this is something that I highly recommend getting to level up your photography. I know that this is an additional cost. The bracket, this old bracket, I think is around $400 to $500, but an investment I think that is worth. If you don't want to invest that much money, you can also start with a ring flash, and this for sure will work. So here you see the hack, how you can easily transform your lateral flash into ring flash with an easy move. We have different kind of illuminations. So with the ring flash, we have this frontal illumination, easy setup, great also for surgical photography. to highlight, to illuminate also the back of the cavity. But and on the other hand, we have the oblique illumination using lateral flash systems, creating more shadows and highlights, and therefore also getting you a more three-dimensional look in your images. Let's talk about how to direct the flash. So this is a direct flash, a lateral flash coming from the front, and here we have indirect flash. So in these examples, I used the pocket bouncers by LumiQuest. We used them for decades. So basically, these were the first bouncers or light modifiers that have been used in dental photography without altering too much the image we are taking. Bouncers and softboxes are altering your images, softening the image, hiding details, are very popular these days, but I just want to highlight, be careful using them. Personally, my recommendation, use them additionally and not only for your clinical documentation, because you're photographing away all the details of your precious work. Hello and welcome, or welcome back. Let's talk again about the hot topic, diffusers. Although I still recommend using them only additionally, they are quite popular these days. And with the introduction of the new Godox MF12 DK1 kit with these very compact adapters and diffusers, the discussion has raised. Because do you want a bulky thing? I'm not saying that these like fixed light or other diffusers or soft boxes or these diffusers, all of them are working well. Also, one of my favorite, the Intra diffuser with a very nice magnetic attachment. The advantage of the Intra diffuser that you also can get a polarizing filter that attach magnetically to it. But overall, for me, there's a clear winner in this game. If you want to use diffusers, it's this. Not only because it's the most compact one, after all, now only available within the kit with the MF12 DK1 kit that comes with the flash adapters, accessories, trigger at almost $400. But these soon will be available for $9.90. There's no competitor out there to get you the diffused images that today most of you are looking for at this price. So think about, I'm not talking about the quality, don't over softbox things, take it easy. So for me again, one of the best diffusers is still the Intra diffuser, not creating too much alteration of the image. This one comes pretty close or is almost the same at, again, a wow price for all out there. And it's not about advertising things. Again, I don't want to use diffusers as my standard thing. I'm using ring flash like I still love using my Godox MFR76 ring flash for many situations, but when it comes to lateral flashes, we can go for the MF12, and what I like, there's the Godox bracket, but personally, I want to be honest, I still love my old bracket where you can easily mount, easily slide in also the Godox flashes. We talked about easy turning around, creating lateral flash, ring flash. There's more videos on that on Dental TV, but for now, just think about or add a comment below to start the discussion what you are thinking or what you think is your go-to diffuser. This one will become the standard just because it's compact, easy to use, and it comes at a price. There's no discussion anymore. Okay, so again, not criticizing things like softboxes, fixed light, a great tool, but at a very high price in relation to others. So it's up to you what you want to go for. Again, we worked hard to develop this for you. Go and get your Godox MF12 DK1 kit, or soon, just if you already have the MF12, you will get these crazy little things at an unbeatable price. Okay, now let's stop this advertising, but it's not advertising, it's telling you what I think is the best way to level up your dental photography with easy tools. Go for brackets, go for lateral flashes, go for ring flashes. Important is that you shoot, that you understand how things work. And if there's any question, I'm here to help. Additional helpers, and also here we have tons of videos and tips and tricks on dental TV. Let's go over that quickly. Mirrors, I prefer mirrors with a handle, and cheek retractors. On cheek retractors, just give me a short comment on my latest development. Hello and good morning. Let's talk about cheek retractors. You know them in plastic, in different size, in different forms. One issue I had with all these retractors, even the metal ones were often too sharp edges and not comfortable for the patient. So we checked out what are the possibilities, and we found that a lot of people are using these Columbia retractors. Basically, they were originally made to retract for surgeries and then were misused for dental photography. The downside is that they are rectangular. The advantage, you get them once, they stay for your lifetime, and that's why we made this. So this is basically the same concept, the same idea of the Columbia retractors, but with different ends. A smaller one, a larger one. So, and if you put them in your mouth, you see the difference? This is rectangular and this is round. So the buccal corridor is much more open. We will share more information on this in my next post. These retractors, you buy them once and you keep them for the whole life. They are indestructible, easy to clean, easy to use, round edges, no pain for your patients, 2 sizes. Well, that's the only one you need. We see an ongoing trend in social media and marketing being more important for your dental office. Sony and Godox offer great solutions for that. You can start using a Sony a6700 Sony 90mm macro lens and the Godox MFR76S Plus ring flash for your everyday dental photography. Level up using a Sony Alpha series full frame camera and combine it with a Godox MF12 lateral flash solution. Or if you want, level up using a flash bracket to position your MF12 the way you want. To control the lateral flash, go and get yourself the X Pro S Plus trigger with a special dental mode. The next big thing is using diffusers, but be careful not overdoing it to get like fleshed out all your details. That's why Sony and Godox developed this easy to mount and easy to use diffusers that go on your MF12 to get this special extra look to level up your especially social media photography. So that's how you can make your photography stand out of the crowd. But that's not all. Video is getting more and more important. Get yourself a wide angle lens like the 20mm 1.8 lens. Great video quality with the Sony a6700 or the Sony Alpha series. Both offer great video, great photography to get your content creation to another level. This is to get the perfect shot for your social media, for your marketing, and for your website. Let me share some additional tips and tricks. One of the key features to make you select a mirrorless camera is the so-called focus peaking. Focus peaking allows you, when focusing manually, to see in a color what is in focus. We go for red, but you can select also other colors. That's why mirrorless is the way to go, and Sony offers you the quality, the tools, and the options you need to be successful in your photo and video content creation. For all these tools, tips and tricks, let's talk about, or let's lose a few words about image file formats. A lot of people are talking about, should we shoot RAW or JPEG? Well, my opinion in this, in practice, JPEG can be recommended as an easy to use, high quality file format. All people out there saying, well, my academy or my lawyer or whatever requires RAW format. I didn't really find any resources underlining the need of RAW format for legal reasons, because honestly, you can cheat any picture you want. So you shoot the picture, you download it to your computer, you manipulate it, and then you print it out on a high quality printer, and then take a picture of this cheated image, and then you have an original in RAW format. So basically at the end, I'm always saying you cheat only yourself. Basically, keep the workflow as simple, as easy as possible. If your camera is set up correctly, it is consistent and it shoots always the same colors, the same resolution. All is standardized, so also the quality remains standardized using JPEG. Also, the other thing, don't switch your camera to Adobe RGB, although it might be a larger color space, but teeth and gingiva have such a small color space that sRGB is more than enough. And it's also how our monitors, projectors, and all things work. And by the way, you might have noticed if you go to a conference, if you go to a workshop with different monitors, your presentations look different all the time. But consistently a little bit different is okay. Neutral picture style, that's something that we have talked about, and I have to really emphasize on that. Set your camera to neutral or a flat color profile, that you don't want the camera to alter your images. What you can do is a video, a reel that was really watched 100,000 of times, is to tweak a little bit to get sharper images all the time. But by going to the menu of your picture style or color profile, your neutral color profile, and then add a little sharpness to your images. So this is a little bit of Photoshop inside your camera that is allowed. Standardized pictures can be compared to each other. You have a consistency in your documentation. This is the way, and this is important for your dental photography. Let's talk about image transfer of pictures you have on your camera. We tried out Wi-Fi transfer, but found it a little bit inconsistent, not really reliable inside our dental office. And that's why we switched back to the old school card reader on a PC where we transfer the images. We will talk about that in another video in detail to highlight the different ways how to add images to your workflow, add them to a specific software, to your practice management software, whatever you want. What I found, and there's also a cool video on that on Dental TV, is Pew Photo. Basically, it's an app that you can download. You can download the app. You connect your camera to your smartphone with a cable, and if you shoot, pictures automatically get to the cloud, and you can share them, you can manipulate them. So this is a really cool tool that I will talk about. I already have a review on Dental TV about this software, but if you want to know more about, just drop me a message. And I think we should do a webinar or a workshop talking about this really cool software to level up your image workflow. Shoot, store, share. I called it this this workflow. This is really interesting. Backup, we don't talk about backup here. That is crucial. All your images need to be backed up. Personally, we have like a server in our office, and then we have a NAS, network attached storage device that is mirrored to my home, where I have another one to really get my data safe. I will not talk about Photoshop, digital darkroom. I know that somebody or a lot of people love to talk for hours or days about Photoshop. If you set up your camera correctly, if you frame your shot correctly, you don't need to Photoshop or to touch your images. So what I do is to rotate them, to maybe if they are too dark, to make them a little bit brighter, to reframe them to look the same in a presentation. By the way, you can do all this manipulation inside your PowerPoint or Keynote. You don't need any additional software for that. Well, that's for today. I hope you enjoyed my short introduction into mirrorless cameras. It's nothing magic. It's nothing magic. All the downsides that people are talking about, lower battery life. Yes, they have lower battery life, but I think that's not an issue in a dental office. We're not in the desert. The batteries last really long enough. I recommend having a spare battery for sure at hand, so that you can change quickly. The same goes for the flashes and everything. But overall, I think the advantages, especially also when it comes to video shooting, are so great. And at the end, DSLR are no longer around. So if you want to replace your camera, there is almost no alternative. Go mirrorless now. Thank you very much for your attention. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments or also as a direct message. I'm here on Dental TV, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. You can find me via my email address. And yes, may the light be with you.